Everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video I'm going to be making this beautiful dress. You know, it's skimpy and cute and fun, and I just loved how the colors look together and the ruching detail, and I just said, you know what, I have to recreate this. So the first thing you're going to need is your fabric. So of course you're going to need two fabrics that are the same design, just different colors, although you could, you know, switch it up, but you know, just to create that look, then you would need two fabrics that look alike but they're just different colors. And also you're going to need fabric that is very stretchy. Okay, you can see how stretchy it is, and the reason why you need this is because you're not going to be adding a zipper to the back, because the dress doesn't have a zipper at the back. Of course you can if you want to, but because of the ruching detailing and just because we want to make it, you know, as seamless as possible, then we're not going to be adding a zipper to this. So make sure that the fabric you use is going to be extremely stretchy so that you'll be able to enter your dress. Okay, so of course for the bust part, you don't really need that much fabric. Honestly, you can get away with using half a yard. If the fabric is, you know, up to 60 in length, then you can just use like quarter of a yard. Really, like, it doesn't need that much fabric. And then for the skirts, you're going to need a long fabric, right? Because you're going to be splashing this. Okay, you're going to be making it long so that, like, we're going to splash and spread so that when we ruche it, we're going to be able to get that, you know, ruching detailing, and it's going to flow, but you see the way it is later on. But 1 yard for this and quarter of a yard, you don't really need. Alright, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is that you're going to want to determine the length of your skirt. My skirt to be 18 inches in length. I want my skirt to be 18 inches in length, so I'm just going to measure that. Okay, so we're just going to add half an inch for seam allowance. So now that we have this, we're going to go on to the splash and the spread. So what we're just going to do is that we're just going to measure the length. It's 18, right? So we're going to divide 18 by 3, and that's going to give us 6. We're just going to do 6, 12, and 18. Okay, all right. So after that, for this one, if we want to remove the darts for this one, we're just going to go like this, 1 inch, right? So we're just going to come here so that it won't disturb us while we are in. Okay, so now we're just going to cut it straight, just to eradicate the dart, so that it's, you know, accurate measurements and you don't have to worry about like pull. So now let us remove half an inch from all our measurements, because you know that with stretchy fabrics, if you put your exact measurements, because of the nature of the fabric, then it's going to be too big. I don't know, but if you sew regularly, then you know that, you know, it's always like that, and then you just have to take in some inches. So just to be safe, in case you're like a beginner and all of that, just take out half an inch. Okay, just take out half an inch. Okay, so now that we've done this, we're going to go on to the splashing and spreading, all of that. So now we're going to want to get this. This is 18 inches, right? So we're going to divide 18 inches into 3, and that's going to give us 6, 12, and 18. So I've already gotten that. So I'm just going to do that on this other side as well. We have this. We're going to go on to our fabric. So now that you have pinned it and secured it, then we're going to place these. Make sure that the space between this place and this place is the exact same thing, so that we have an equal, you know, balance and all of that. Okay, the back panel first. Okay, so now that we have this, we're going to, where's my table? So the amount of inches that you leave between each pattern piece depends on you, if you want your ruching to be very much and very dramatic. But for me, I'm just going to make it 4 inches. Ruch it in, everything is going to stop where it's meant to stop. So now that we're done with that, we're just going to cut it out. You know that the skirt in front has ruching, right? It has ruching at the center front, which is this side, right? So that is why we're going to be leaving 1 inch here, just to make sure that we have the thing that we need to, you know, fold it in. But later on you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Let me just try. And then we're just going to align it with this. Very good. So now all we just need to do is just trace out our skirt. Good. So now we have our front panel and our back panel. Alright, so now we are on to our bust, the bust part, the tube top. As you can see, it's a tube top. The only difference is that it's ruching in the middle. So we're just going to make it a straight, you know, tube top, and then it's the ruching that is going to create the neckline. I'm going to make the neckline like that. Okay, so we're going to place this on here like so, and then we're going to cut it out. Okay, so now we have our front panel. So for the front panel, we're going to divide it into 2. For the skirt, so we're going to divide it into 2. I don't know if I remembered to do that, but you're supposed to do that too. So we have this now. We're just going to cut out this part because we don't need this for the back. Alright, so now we have all our pieces. I'm going to cut the straps. I'm going to cut the straps, and then this is the tube top. This is for the back, as you can see, and then this is for the front, the one that has the space for the ruching. Okay, and then this is our skirt. This is the one with the fold for the back, and this is the one that is divided for the front. So now that we're done with that, let us get to sewing. So after you're finished cutting, the first thing you want to do is you want to hem the top and the bottom so that you can just get this out of the way. So I suggest you do that first. And then after you do that for all of your pieces, now it's time to connect the front panels together. So you just leave 1 inch, make sure that it's 1 inch with your tape measure, and then you can go ahead and sew all the way down. So after you're done with that, you can see I just opened up the seam, and then I'm just going to sew straight down, as you can see, just straight down from the top to the bottom. So you can see now I've done the other side as well, and you can see that this is the tunnel that the strap is going to pass through to create the ruching. So now that we're done with that, we can move on to the next. So after that, the next thing you want to do is that you want to join your front panel with your back panel. So all you need to do is just sew this together. And so once you want to do this, make sure that you shape your dress. Make sure that what you're taking is what you're supposed to take, so that you don't over sew. And also keep in mind that this is a stretchy fabric, so you have to take off some inches from your original measurements. So after that, we're just going to do the exact same thing that we did for the skirt. That's what we're going to do for the top part as well. So just sew it, open up the seam, sew it down, and then we're good to go. So after this, you want to sew the tube top with the skirt, but it's only at the back panel that you're going to do this. You're not going to do this for the front, so as to leave the opening for the dress in the front. So as you can see, I've already sewn the straps. So to pass the straps through the holes, I'm using a bodkin, but you could use a safety pin, whichever way you know how to do it, and then just pass it through. And then I'm just sewing that place to make sure that the straps don't leave when I pull it. So just just to secure the strap in that particular place. So after you're done with that, your dress should look like this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you understood it, and I hope that you can use this to make yours as well.